Is everyone all set? All good? Okay. Chief?
All right, this incident is yet another reminder, stark reminder, of just the unpredictable nature of law enforcement and public safety generally. We're here again today talking about an officer-involved shooting, a place that none of us want to be at. The officers, the detectives, this community, our community, and those family members of the people that are involved. So, once again, my heart goes out to this community and everyone that's going to be touched by this event as we move forward. It's a tragic place, and we don't want to be here. And the information I'm going to provide now is preliminary and subject to change as the investigation progresses. Today, just before 9 a.m., officers with the East District were dispatched to the 2800 block of North Post Road. There was a gas station there on the report of a carjacking. When they arrived, they spoke to the victim, who said she was approached by one suspect who demanded her keys and some other items, was armed with a gun. They took her things and then fled in two different vehicles, her vehicle and another vehicle, which there were other suspects in. A description of the vehicle was given over the police radio. Officers in this area, all over the far east side of Indianapolis, were searching their particular apartment complexes in their beats based on that description. One of the officers working proactively in this area saw the suspect vehicle and the victim's vehicle in this apartment complex. While waiting for other officers to get here, he encountered one of the suspects. That suspect he was told that suspect to get on the ground. That suspect fled. At some point during that flight, the officer can be heard on body-worn camera telling the individual to drop the gun. He approached the suspect vehicle, which is a gray sedan, dropped something. As he picked that as he picked that item up, I can't tell you exactly what that is at the moment. It's hard to tell on body-worn camera. More investigation will have to be made. That's the point when the officer fired his weapon. The suspect fled some more. There was more commands given, and there were two other separate times, for a total of 3 times, where the officer discharged his weapon. The individual collapsed on the ground, apparent gunshot wounds. The officer waited for additional cars to get here. Aid was rendered, and the suspect was taken to Eskenazi Hospital and has died. We do not have confirmation on age, name, or any of that right now. That is an ongoing process, and we'll update that information as soon as we have it. The suspect car, the gray sedan, fled the area with a driver and at least one other suspect who can be seen getting into the car as this incident was unfolding. We are currently out looking for that vehicle right now. There's no immediate threat in this particular area, and our detectives and officers are going to work diligently to identify who those other individuals are and take them into custody for information about what happened here, but also in reference to the carjacking that took place around 9 a.m. This morning. No uninvolved citizens or other officers were involved. It was one officer is the one that fired his weapon. The detectives did locate 2 firearms at the conclusion of this incident. Both of them had extended magazines, and one was equipped with a machine gun conversion device. Body-worn cameras were activated during this incident. I have reviewed them. Our staff has reviewed them. Body-worn cameras is one view. It doesn't tell us the entire story, and so detectives are working to interview witnesses and potentially the officers to find out more information of what happened. The case will be investigated by the Critical Incident Response Team. A parallel internal investigation will take place with the Internal Affairs Branch. After the conclusion of the criminal process, the Civilian Majority Use of Force Review Board will review all the facts and circumstances and make a recommendation to me about whether policies and procedures and training were followed. As is standard operating procedure, the officer has been placed on administrative leave and will be provided with wellness services to him and his family. Our chaplains were here on scene talking with residents here, and that will continue to provide the support both for this neighborhood and anyone involved or touched by this, both from their office and our victim assistance office. Any questions?
Chief, did the suspect have a gun in their hand when the officer fired the second and third shots, by the timeline when he was running away.
That's the information that we're still trying to determine. The officer has a perspective that none of us do. The body-worn camera does not capture everything that's known to the officer, or that the officer can see and hear, and all those things. So we have to let that process, work its way through the process. But every time we use force, an officer has to articulate the why, and it has to be within the law and training and policy. So we'll find out what happened at some point during this investigation.
Where were the guns found?
Right where the suspect was, where we finally took him into custody.
Can you confirm, go over again, this crime scene here? The woman was carjacked at a nearby gas station. Officer recognized the victim's vehicle, the suspect's vehicle, driven back here.
So the carjacking occurred at 2800 North Post Road. The description of that vehicle was given on the radio. Other officers patrolling their beats began checking those individual apartment complexes in their beats. And one of the officers saw both the suspect's vehicle and the victim's vehicle taken in the carjacking in this apartment complex.
Thank
So
you all.
you said this before real quick, but again, you guys are responding to the actions of suspects in this case, right? That's your officers are responding to what other people are doing, right? I mean, this is how these things happen.
Well, I mean, it's terrible, and we don't want things to end this way. We really don't. We also don't want people carjacked. We don't want innocent people who are just going about their day with a gun stuck in their face and their things taken. And we certainly don't want to take this kind of action at the end of those incidents. So I'm heartbroken for everyone involved in this. This is not something we want to ever happen. But like I said at the beginning, this is part of the perils of law enforcement and public safety. I feel like in this day and age, with so many weapons out on the street, conversion devices, all those things that just make the job of our officers more difficult, and it makes it more difficult for the people that live in these communities. The vast majority of the people that live in here are good people. They're hardworking people. They want to live in peace, but sometimes they're terrorized by a small number of people, and that's where law enforcement has to step in, and we have to make sure that we provide safe environments for them. And that's not generally talking about this particular incident. I'm talking generally about what some of our residents feel in their neighborhoods, and what the role of police is to make them feel better about where they live.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a clarification.
Yeah.
The item that was dropped, you don't know if that
I don't
was
know.
the gun.
Yeah. No.
Alexa.
I don't want to say it is and it's not it, right? So the officer's going to have to
Drop
explain.
something